The Mystara project is proud to present Part 11 of the Creatures of Mystara series. In this video we shall look at the intelligent magic-using giant spiders called Araneas, and their undead versions called Arashaeem. Araneas were introduced in Module X1 The Isle of Dread in 1981, on page 28. Araneas resemble giant spiders. Their greenish-brown chitin blends in well with their preferred jungle or dense forest habitat. Unlike other giant spiders, they can be distinguished by the large odd-shaped lump on their back which contains their large brain. Their two 24-inch-long front limbs have four multi-jointed flexible digits and a thumb, allowing manipulation of simple tools and grasping prey. They are the size of a small pony, ranging in height from 3'2" to 4'10", 2 foot wide and 3 to 6 foot long. They have two spinnerets on their abdomen. 4 smaller eyes detect motion, while the 4 larger eyes resemble lidless human eyes. The positioning of the eyes allows nearly 360-degree motion detection and 60-foot infravision. As magic users, Araneas have a relatively weak armor class of 7. They are classified as large, not man-sized, creatures in the creature catalogue, which appears to be an error that was corrected in the Savage Coast Monstrous Compendium. They can move 50% faster than an unencumbered human outside of webs. In webs their normal speed only drops by 1/3. This speed assists their preference for avoiding melee combat. They also avoid combat with their preference to use illusion and charm spells. If they fail they use offensive magic, then their deadly poisonous bite as a last resort. In their lairs, they congregate in groups of 1 to 3, whilst the total population could number as many as 30. When traveling outside their lairs, they can be encountered in groups of 1 to 6. They save as third-level magic users. They have an average morale of 7, which indicates disinterest in combat. Their lairs contain treasure type D woven into the roof of their lair. 3 out of 5 of these lairs will contain 1,000 to 6,000 GP. 3 in 10 will contain 1 to 8 gems and 1 to 8 jewels. A few lairs will contain magic items, special treasure, and copper and silver pieces. Araneas have an IQ of 140 and are chaotically aligned. Araneas create their webbed lairs in trees with partial roofing of waterproof bark, leaves and vines. Usually the partial roofing covers 50% of the lair. Under the covered part they keep crude furniture of web, vines, bark and wood. These roofed sections resemble caves and are used for storage and libraries. Treasure is woven into the roofs. The first common Araneas were hatched in the lands of Aran, around the Spider River on the Dawn territories, before recorded history. They were the offspring of evil planar spiders and local giant spiders. The planar spiders served the entropic immortal, the night spider, also known as Arachne Prime. The night spider and her followers had fled to the uncivilized planet of Mystara from the outer plane of night, to escape adventurers seeking her demise. The planar spiders with Phanatan slaves built the city of Aran. The night spider set up her lair in a deep shaft beneath Aran. A different breed of Araneas, Proto-Harathians, evolved in caverns 1,000 feet underneath a dense forest on the edge of the Arctic Circle in the Savage Coast region, before 4000 BC. These primitive Araneas drew cave paintings and followed Yem, elsewhere known as Karotiku. It is not known if the Araneas from Aran migrated here, or if these Araneas were created by Yem. These wild Araneas, with no spellcasting ability, have spread to caverns under the Yazak steppes, the dry flats, the tall grass coast, the empty valley and the Bylot hills. By 3990 BC, the Proto-Harathian Araneas had developed a thriving civilization. The Great Rain of Fire in BC 3000 shifted the planet's axis. The Savage Coast now moved south to a subtropical latitude. Around BC 2000, the Araneas of the western Savage Coast formed the Magocracy of Harath, centered on the forest of the Magus. These Araneas had developed magical ability far beyond the common Araneas of Aran. They had also magically developed the ability to shapeshift at will to one particular type of local humanoid of the region. These humanoid alter egos were developed with a separate set of memories and attitudes to the Harathians' natural form. They replaced their wee cities with conventional towers. Soon the local elves and Los Guardianos humans started to believe that the Araneas had become extinct. Through magical research, they created lizard men to act as guards by crossing dragons and humans. Around BC 690, the Harathians started magically crossing Wallara chameleon men with lizard men, creating a more intelligent species of the latter, the Shazaks. The Wallara learn that the Harathians are shape-shifted Araneas. The Harathians cast a powerful spell of forgetting on the Wallara civilization. In BC 500, the immortal ruler of all dragons, the Great One, was angered by the effects of the spell of forgetting, which by now had reduced the Wallara to Stone Age technology. The Great One cursed the savage coast with his blood to stop the scrying powers of the Harathians. The Harathians' magic managed to limit this curse to the eastern savage coast. In response, the Great One sent dragons to attack Herath. Yem managed to negotiate a truce with the Great One, whereby the Harathians agreed to abandon further research of the spell of forgetting and interference with the Wallara. The wild Araneas that live under the Bylot Hills, dry flats, Yazak steppes, tall grass coast and the empty valley, have the same stats as the common Araneas, except they cannot cast spells. They set up trapdoors on the ground and hide in their burrow beneath the trapdoor, ambushing prey when they set off vibrations on the trapdoor. The wild Araneas are part of the Chaotic Alliance with the Chaotic Sisterhood of Humans based out of Slagovich and Snappers. 4 of them occupy a triangular building in the ruined city of Dravia. Harathian Araneas, whilst more suitable as NPCs, were designed to be playable characters. They differ from common Araneas in many aspects. Their natural armor class is 9. They are treated as magic users, requiring an additional 50% experience points per level. They start at first level and may progress to 36th, in contrast to common Araneas who are the equivalent as third-level magic users. Their strength and constitution ranges from 3 to 16, intelligence ranges from 12 to 18, wisdom from 5 to 18, and dexterity from 8 to 18. These ability scores are the same in their natural and humanoid alter ego forms. They have different charisma scores depending on their form and whether the viewer is an Araneas or not. Their charisma to other Araneas is the standard 3 to 18 range, regardless of their form, as other Araneas can see through the alter ego. Whilst in Araneas form their charisma is 3 to non-Araneas due to legends of horrifying spellcasting spiders. Charisma to non-Araneas whilst in humanoid form is the same as their normal, but capped at 8. This can be improved by 1 at each experience level gained on a successful acting check, up to a maximum of 18. This reflects the Araneas learning to better conceal some of their more unsavory attitudes. Harathian Araneas are not restricted to chaotic alignment, neutrality is an option. The secretive Harathian Araneas are taught by sages soon after hatching to adopt a local humanoid alter ego, to preserve the secrecy of the Araneas to outsiders. The alter ego is a unique individual that cannot be changed once selected. The species selected is usually the same species of the parents, otherwise a plausible explanation will be required, i.e. adoption. The next issue revolves around different lifespans. Araneas usually live between 202 and 400 years, reaching adulthood between 19 and 31, becoming middle-aged at 100, old at 133, and venerable at 200. So elves are probably the easiest species to impersonate, as they cast magic and mature at age 20 and live beyond an Araneas lifespan. An explanation for not using armor would be required to avoid some suspicion. Adoption of shorter-lived species would require explanations like pretending to be a younger relative, or taking potions of longevity to account for the Araneas' lifespan beyond a century. It is noted that the Araneas' alter ego form ages consistently with the adopted species. Changing between the two forms takes 1 turn, during which the Araneas appears to be a humanoid with an extra set of eyes on the temples, and webs from its palms. Harathian Araneas must allocate their starting general skills to speak with normal spiders, 1 slot, speak with giant spiders, 1 slot, and the remaining slots to acting until their acting skill reaches 18. Once their acting skill is 18, they may choose other skills. Spider training is a popular choice. Their starting languages are Herathi, sometimes called Herothan, normal spider, giant spider, and the Savage Coast common tongue of Slag. Player character Araneas have the same physical attributes as common Araneas, except they have a more limited length, at 3 foot 9 to 4 foot 6. Their weight is the same as their humanoid form. Araneas' all-round vision means they can only be surprised 10% of the time. They have the climb sheer surfaces skill as a thief of the same level, and can cling to surfaces with a -40% penalty to the climb sheer surfaces roll. At second level, they gain the ability to shoot a web from their spinnerets in their natural form. 1 square foot of web can be created per round. The web has the same effect as the magic user spell, but if it is not large enough to entirely cover the victim, it can easily be ripped apart. The web lasts for a week if not maintained. Once a 3-foot square web is produced after 3 rounds, it may be thrown as a net with basic skill. The web can also be made into a cocoon. A silk strand can be secreted at 20 foot per round, which can act as a rope with half the normal encumbrance. Web strands have 2 hit points and can be broken by cutting them with a successful open doors roll. At third level, their venom causes paralysis for 1 turn per level of the Araneas, on a failed saving throw versus poison. At fifth level, they can sense normal spiders within 30 feet and control up to 4 hit dice of them at will within this range. The spiders get no saving throw to avoid this control. At 7th level, once per day, Araneas can magically summon an insect swarm of normal spiders within 1 to 4 rounds. At 9th level, victims of the Araneas bite who are paralyzed and have 9 or less hit dice, must make a saving throw versus poison, or die within 1 to 4 turns. Finally, at 12th level, once per day, Araneas can magically summon non-magical giant spiders within 1 to 4 rounds. The total hit dice summoned is equal to 1/3 the level of the Araneas, rounded down. The spiders can be controlled within 30 feet. Some Harathian Araneas develop a split personality disorder, which involves forgetting that their other form exists. If in the presence of other Araneas in their natural shape, the disordered Araneas will also adopt this form 95% of the time. If it fails to do this, it becomes permanently insane, forgetting its true Araneas form. Araneas automatically switch to humanoid alter ego form in the presence of non-Araneas, and they must do this by law when they depart the forest of the Magus. As magic users, Araneas are interested in magical research. Harathian Araneas created the 3rd-level magic user spell, Identify Species. They designed the spell so that it would not be able to identify their alter egos as Araneas. Casting a True Sight spell on an alter ego does not reveal the Araneas, as the alter ego is considered a true form. A Dispel magic spell does not force an alter ego to shift to Araneas form. They prefer to cast illusion and charm magic, and avoid fire-based magic as it endangers their habitat. In death, they do not shift shape. There are currently a few notable Harathian Araneas characters. Wizard King Yahav IV, the Watcher, son of Queen Sorceress Amsharai II, rules the hereditary kingdom of Herath. He is a keen astrologer. Duke Yalugu the Dark Weaver, son of Lord Ezra of Inshea, is an austere, terse, somewhat sinister character. Viscountess Beriam the Deft, daughter of Lord Balmaroth of Beravram, is a very beautiful and charismatic noble. Count Disbal, 8 Eyes, son of Lord Inzuth of Enom, rules a coastal dominion of miners. Viscount Maziath the Hook, son of Lord Gerferman of Hethzire, rules this coastal dominion of merchants and soldiers. Lord Yezerath of Pasfizu is the appointed administrator of the Wildwoods region. Balbeth is a spy of at least 6th level in the employ of Duke Yalugu of Inshea. Balbeth is unusually emotional for an Araneas, feeling sadness for slain comrades. Finally, Gior is a 9th-level Harathian Araneas living on the Manscorpion kingdom of Nimua to the west. He is intrigued by the Nemurian star devices and has a network of spies and thugs to learn more about them. The Harathians follow a pantheon of 5 immortals, which does not include a representative of the sphere of time. Yem is the head of the pantheon and the patron of Araneas. The majority of the forest of the Magus and the duchy of Inshea follow him. Enaban the Wise, elsewhere known as Masawu, is the entropic patron of diplomacy, intrigue, influence, masquerade, rulers, spies and thieves. His main following is in the Viscounty of Beravram. Negivim, elsewhere known as Illyric, is the patron of wizardry and insensitivity, mainly followed in Enom, where he expects gems to be sacrificed to him. Shaibuth, elsewhere known as Irindal, is the patron of the forest. He is mischievously competing with his old prankster rival, Yem. As at AC 1000, he has been unsuccessful in starting druidism among the Araneas. However, by AC 1010, a webmaster's circle led by a 12th level druid had been established. He is mainly followed in the wildwoods. Finally, Shea, elsewhere known as Valerias, is the patroness of love, romance and beauty. She was drawn to the Araneas after learning of a tragic love tale of how a female Araneas recklessly became pregnant to a human paladin, then killed him and herself to ensure the Aranean secret was preserved. If this tale is true, then that would refute the assertion that Araneas cannot mate in their humanoid form. Mazruth al-Yedem is another Araneas character of the Savage Coast. His alter ego is of an old reclusive Harathian wizard with legacies. His tower is located in the Sierra Borgosa of the central Savage Coast, where he is studying the Red Curse and Oltec artifacts. Belfemen, the capital of Herath, is the 6th largest city in the known world, with a population of 186,000 Araneas as at AC 1000. Araneas are found in Runadi with Lupin alter egos. They are the offspring of spies and refugees. Some can also be found in Boa Mansong in Teixeira and the Free City of Dunwich. Araneas are also found in the rainforests of the Serpent Peninsula. The common Araneas of Aran are followers of the entropic immortal, the night spider. They also believe her planar spider followers whom they serve are immortal as well. In addition to their capital, Aran, they have 5 other villages. 20% of their village treasure bundles contain young who swarm if disturbed. The Araneas and planar spiders are in telepathic communication with the night spider. The army of Aran is organized into divisions called 8-web regulars, consisting of 40 Araneas led by a 10-hit dice planar spider. Common Araneas inhabit the jungles of the southern Isle of Dread and the smaller islands to the south. 3 lair in the southern Isle of Dread and have offered loot and aid to 2 bugbears who guard the jungle floor below their lairs. 3 common Araneas have made a lair out of a room that was used as servants' quarters in Chateau d'Onbraville. Araneas are known to inhabit the woods of Shialor and Blackheart, on the continent of Alphatia. A small group inhabit the dense fungal forest of spiders, in Locetral Cavern, in the Shadow Elf territories, well below the surface of southeast Brune. They have recently taken control of the spiders there, sending them to raid the Shadow Elf communities for magic items. The elves are confused at the sudden organization of the spiders. So far, the Shadow Elves are unaware of their presence. They are found in the Hollow World in the rainforests and the northern temperate forests of the Azcan Empire. Araneas tend to be secretive, cold, immoral, pragmatic, and suspicious. Males and females are treated equally. Humanoids are seen as inferior. They were created by the immortals to give the Araneas delicacies, convenient armies, labor, taxable subjects, and magical experimentation specimens. But the humanoids were made dangerous, so they could not be abused, and their challenge would lead to enhanced learning and inspiration. Araneas are loathed by most sentient species. Fanatans are their mortal enemies and they will attack each other on sight. Aran has Fanatan slaves, and is constantly skirmishing with the free Fanatans that escaped. The Fanatans of Jibberu see Araneas as evil spirits possessing giant spiders, and have been capturing humanoids on suspicion of being Harathian shapeshifters. The Wallera have been warned by their immortals that Balanders, evil spirits that steal souls, inhabit the lands beyond the Forbidden River. This, of course, refers to the Harathian Araneas. Given this loathing from outsiders, the clinically rational Harathian Araneas value secrecy and cultivate foreign fear. Most outsiders believe the Araneas are extinct or never existed. The forest of the Magus is off-limits to outsiders, rumored to be infested with monsters. Non-Aranean wizards are unwelcome in Herath, and are always promptly removed from positions of power, should they attain them. Araneas' taste in art is considered disturbing by most outsiders. Whilst Araneas are omnivores, Harathians farm giant houseflies the size of chickens. They enjoy sucking the juices out of these flies with sharp silver tubes. Araneas are clever and patient. Their favorite combat tactic is to lie in wait for prey in the branches of a tree, then silently lower themselves on strands of webbing and begin a spell attack. When confronted by dangerous foes, they often mask their true appearance with illusions and pretend to be elves, foresters, druids, or dryads. In humanoid form they gain all the species abilities of the humanoid form, can cast magic user spells, but retain their natural form hit dice. Presumably this means they would not have magic user weapons and armor restrictions in humanoid form. They also cannot use their Araneas species abilities in alter ego form, except for shape change. Arashaeem were introduced in the Savage Coast Monsters Compendium on page 12. They are undead Araneas, rumored to have failed to achieve lichdom. Araneas who are 21st level or higher with sufficient necromantic skill, may attempt to send their soul to the outer plane of limbo, then bind it to their decaying body. The binding ritual is risky, with failure resulting in the Araneas becoming an Arashaeem and being reduced to the equivalent of a 9th level magic user. Here are their stats converted to the Rules Cyclopedia guidelines. They have a above average armor class of 3, the equivalent of plate mail armor. At 9+3 hit dice, they would be tough opponents for basic and low-level expert parties. They have 20% magic resistance, in addition to the usual undead immunities of sleep, poison, paralysis, hold and charm attacks. They take half damage from cold and electrical attacks. They are man-sized, being 6 foot long. Their movement rate is the same as it was in life. Their bite does a bit more damage at 1 to 8 and requires a save against poison to avoid being paralyzed for 3 to 8 rounds. They can produce 90 foot of web per day. Their web attack paralyzes victims by touch, with the same consequences as their bite. They are solitary creatures, but may negotiate with humanoids to serve as minions in return for treasure. Their lairs contain 10 to 100 hit dice of spiders that they train. They have a normal morale of 8. Treasure in their lair is woven into the ceiling as they did in life. There is a 50-50 chance each lair will contain up to 100,000 SP, 40,000 EP, 60,000 GP, 100 gems, and 12 jewels. About a quarter of lairs will have CP and PP, about 1 in 6 will have 6 magic items, and about 1 in 10 will have special treasure. When traveling, Arashaeem rarely carry treasure. They retain the above-average intelligence they had in life. They are all evil with a strong desire for power, with their alignment fairly evenly split between chaos and neutrality. They are very rare, usually lairing in caves or ruined castles, with dense forest as a last resort. Their lairs contain many traps, especially web-oriented ones. Presumably, they may be turned as vampires. Arashaeem are able to shapeshift to 2 alternate noble zombie-like forms, a demispider and a humanoid. Each shapeshift takes a full turn and the demispider form must be transitioned through first before transitioning further. In all 3 forms they can speak the languages they knew in life in quiet ominous whispers. The demispider form has all 3 attack options available in its natural form, with the webs shooting out from their palms. The Arashaeem employ similar combat tactics to what they did in life. Additionally, they enjoy herding invaders of their lairs into traps and webbed dead ends through deception. If their prey is lured into a dead end, they like to seal them in by blocking their escape with another web. Some traps employed include a web dropping from the ceiling, or the release of a rock fall by cutting a web. They can also attempt a stealth attack via attacking from behind webbing or dropping down from above, surprising on a 1 to 3 on D6. Unlike in life, the Arashaeem tend to spend most of their time in their natural spider form. This has led to their existence being known to some outsiders, particularly powerful adventurers. Harathian Araneas are concerned that awareness of these undead creatures' existence will alert outsiders of the Araneas' existence in Herath. So they exterminate these undead whenever they locate them. To date, most outsiders have not made the connection, believing the Arashaeem to be evil spirits from an outer plane. The few that recognize the lineage speculate that the immortals turned the whole Araneas species into evil spirits as punishment. The Araneas fuel these rumors when they are aired. Despite the Araneas' paranoia, the indoctrination of never betraying the alter ego secret remains with these undead Araneas. An Araneas could be a challenging character for a player to control, leading a double life while adventuring with an unsuspecting party. The PC Araneas should not be evil, but will be insensitive, perhaps becoming less so as their charisma increases with experience. Araneas non-magic user class options could be made available with a 50% additional XP required, and level limits of 6 for fighters, 9 for clerics, 12 for druids and thieves. Araneas are designed to make intriguing behind-the-scenes villains, especially the shapeshifter breed. PCs could encounter wild Araneas first, then be shocked when they encounter the spellcasting breeds. As outlined in GAZ 13, the Shadow Elves, Araneas can create problems by controlling spider attacks without being suspected. The Araneas are a secretive, well-hidden species, thought to be mere legend by many. Spellcasting Araneas and their undead version's spellcasting ability and use of minions can allow them to escape to torment the PCs in further adventures. This concludes our look at the secretive intelligent giant spiders known as the Araneas, and their undead counterparts, the Arashaeem.